Hey, what is up guys, it's Fez here, and I am back with the Redstone tutorial part 2, and this is clocks, well, Redstone clocks. So anyway, what a clock is just a device to loop a certain timing. So you can adjust these clocks to be anything that as fast or as slow as you could possibly want. You have ridiculously long clocks like this that would be used for ridiculous amounts of time. Like one of my friends who made a sugarcane farm that was supposed to auto harvest, and he didn't know how to use a technique called a bud switch, which essentially just detects when a block is updated. It actually stands for block update detector, and he didn't know how to use this, so he set up about a 5-minute time. It was an extremely long timing system, but it triggered off every blank minutes. And he said it took up a 4-story tower worth of repeaters. So you can have these go for as long as you need. And then as you can see here, this is just a ridiculously long one. I don't know why anyone would ever need one to be this long. I'll turn that off. And as you can see, it's just going to loop around forever until, or unless one of the pieces of redstone gets broken. So if I were to hit that, these don't continue on. And you can let's say put a block here, and then this should power it, yeah. But you cannot have 2 blocks like this. This would not work because a block, stupid rain, but a block cannot pass power to another block and then have that pass power again. So this doesn't work, but this with redstone next to it does. So this is the basic idea of a clock. It's just a timing device, and what I would suggest for the smallest clock that would be really semi-practical would be a 4x4 clock, and even that, it's really not that practical because you need a lever to actually do a decent job with it, because on the longest delay, a button is still just short enough to trigger this well, and then as you can see, it's still an extremely it's still pretty slow, but there's only 1 tick that is off at one time, so pretty much it just means 3 out of the 4 ticks this is on, and only 1/4 of the time it is off. So it's actually it's on most of the time anyway. But then a 2x2 clock I would not suggest doing, just because they're a pain to turn on without special means. Like this way, you put a redstone torch down next to it and power it so that way the power loops, and then you have to quickly break and place a piece of redstone like that, and then there you go. That's pretty much the easiest way to trigger this without any special means. But as you can see, it does no blocks update fast enough to keep up with this current, except for detectors, and I will show you that in a second. So I don't know why, but this one's broken, so we're just gonna skip this. I have a few more examples of it anyway. So what this is right here, this is what I call a short pulse generator. So what happens is, when I flick this switch, the power will go to this one first, sending energy, or sending the redstone current through the block to here, starting a 1 tick pulse, and then 1 tick later, the piston fires, moving the block so that way only 1 tick's worth of energy gets through. And then, since redstone repeaters can't pass through the extended part of the piston, then this will stop getting power from the lever, and then it'll start this up, and it'll be able to power the dispenser. See, there you go. And but a weird little glitch for dispensers is that, if you notice, it's not triggering right now. Like, you can't hear it. I do have my sound all the way up. You guys should be able to hear it, but when I place a torch, there you go. But that's really annoying. So I don't know why this works. I think it's just kind of like a little programming glitch. I'm not sure, but it pretty much causes this to update in sync with this. I would not suggest having clocks run for a long time by themselves, because if you have too many of them going, it does create some lag sometimes. So, because I mean, it just causes ridiculous amounts of block updates if you're a couple if you, I mean not block updates, but chunk updates if you're a couple blocks away because they're constantly firing. So turn them off. But they're normal clocks are kind of a pain to restart because you need to do that. But not with this next solution. This is a toggleable clock, or a clock you can turn on and off, just like an idea behind a light switch. How you can flip the switch up to turn it off on, and then down to turn it off, and then you can do that as many times as you want, and it will never like loop itself over. And then when you flick it down, it'll stay on. So that's what this does. And as you can see, when I started it up, it gave off a quick little pulse, and yeah, so it started up the clock, and same idea with the quick pulse generator. Oh, and if you guys want a longer pulse, just set this timing to be a little bit longer than this one, and it'll make a longer pulse. So that's actually pretty controllable. I mean, you could have an extremely long line if you really want like a super pulse. You could control the exact amount of ticks you want. So let's say I wanted 5 ticks. I could put this like that. Let's put this here. And how you count the ticks is, hold on, sorry, I just messed with the wiring a little bit. Alright, so how you count the ticks is in stage 1 that's 1, stage 2 that's 2, stage 3 that's 3, stage 4 that's 4, and then 5. So it's just simple addition, 4, 1, 5. So this should create a 4 long tick, a 5 long tick, or actually it'd be 4, I think. So if I have these all at 2, so these are 2 ticks each. This should be only there should be only 2 powered at the same time if I'm thinking of this correctly. Yep, roughly. It actually looks like a little bit more like 3. It's hard to tell though, just because. Actually, nope. I think it is 2. So I think we got it. I think it's actually 5. So because if you notice right along the edges, it becomes 3, which I think a pulse gets ahead of the other ones. So or a tick. But anyway, so how it works is since not the pistons, but the redstone repeaters are actually pushing power into the blocks, which go to the next repeater, and so on and so forth. But this block is only here when this piston is powered, or aka when the switch is turned on, actually. So, when I turn it off, this resets, because that's just how it works, and then this resets also, and then once this goes down, it stops all power right here, and then you can just flick it on and off. Simple as that. There you go. You have a toggleable switch. It's not really something people think of, but it's actually extremely simple. I mean, there's no complex redstone here. I'm going to show you kind of a neat little clock that I learned from watching someone. It's a very compact, very cool clock. I think it's pretty darn awesome. Sorry if I don't make this right the first few times. I'm not 100% on how to make this. Hold on, I'm sorry. I think it's like this. Is it? Ah, yeah. I just remembered it. Sorry. Boom. But this needs to be facing the other direction. There you go. Okay. So what this is just a version of a pulse. It's just, of a clock. It's just extremely tiny, and this is really just meant for if you have a crunch space and you want to just make a little 1 block wide, whatchamacallit, 1 block wide clock. And this is extendable, so you can make this as many blocks as you want. And since it's easier to just build things 1 block wide than having them take up many blocks in a wide direction, it's just easier that way. So actually, no, this technique only works with 1. I'm sorry, I'm thinking stupidly. So anyway, how it works is the torch powers this block, which powers this block. Which powers the repeater, which powers this block, which powers this. And then this powers this, turning it off, or turning it back on. No, okay. Okay, I got this. Sorry. So it goes through that loop, and then when this turns off for a very small thing, because this is only powered when this is powered. So this powers, and then this turns itself off essentially just for one tick, and then it goes to this, goes to here, and then just repeats. So this is just one method of a clock. I'm sure you could come up with thousands of just methods for clocks. This is just one that I thought was kind of cool. So yeah, next episode we will be getting into buttons. Well, I mean more buttons, but I think they're called T flip flops, or they're T flip flops, not RSO latches. So look forward to that, and I hope you guys enjoy. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Rate, comment, subscribe. See ya, and have a nice day.